The internal resources, capabilities and competencies of an organisation. Part A. Identify and evaluate an organisation's strategic capability, threshold resources, threshold competencies, unique resources and core competencies. Strategic capability is the term used to describe the strengths and weaknesses of an organisation. It can also be defined as an organisation's ability to survive and prosper depends on its strategic capability. This can be defined as the adequacy and suitability of its resources and competencies. As the above definition illustrates, capability is assessed in terms of competencies and resources. Competencies and resources can be classified as either threshold or unique. Threshold competence can be defined as those activities and processes needed to meet the customer's minimum requirements. Threshold resources can be described as those resources needed to meet the customer's minimum requirements. Resources can be tangible or intangible in nature. Core competencies are the activities and processes through which resources are deployed in such a way as to achieve competitive advantage in ways that others cannot imitate or obtain. Unique resources are those resources that critically underpin competitive advantage and that others cannot easily imitate or obtain. Resources can be tangible or intangible in nature. Part B. Discuss the capabilities required to sustain competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is the ability of an organisation to generate greater returns than those of competitors over the long term. These are opposed to short-term tactics which provide a temporary advantage. It is clear that unique resources and core competencies are of great importance in creating a sustainable competitive advantage. According to Johnson et al. 2017, resources and competencies must have 4 qualities to achieve a competitive advantage. These 4 qualities are value, rarity, inimitability and organisational support. Value is concerned with the value placed on resources and competencies by a customer or an organisation. It is the extent to which resources or competencies allow a customer or organisation to take advantage of opportunities and or neutralise threats. A single unique resource or core competence may have the potential to create competitive advantage by itself. The importance of rarity is that if a resource or competence is generally available, then an organisation's competitors will have access to it in the same way as the organisation does, in which case the resource or competence does not confer any advantage to the organisation compared to its rivals. Inimitability means that a resource is difficult for competitors to imitate. Generally, it is difficult to base competitive advantage simply on possession of tangible resources, since they can often be imitated or simply bought in. Inimitability most frequently resides in the competencies involved in linking activities and processes in ways that both satisfy customer priorities and which are difficult for competitors to imitate. Organisational support focuses upon whether or not an organisation is able to support its capabilities, including its processes and systems. For example, an organisation may have a unique and valuable patent, but is not able to exploit it because it does not have the sales force to sell the resulting product. Part C. Discuss the contribution of organisational knowledge to the strategic capability of an organisation. Knowledge management is connected with the theory of the learning organisation. It is founded on the idea that knowledge can be a major factor in creating a sustainable competitive advantage and should form part of an organisation's strategic capability. Knowledge is thus seen as an important resource and may in itself constitute a competence, as it can certainly underpin many competencies. Organisational learning has become particularly important as business environments become increasingly complex and dynamic. It becomes necessary for strategic managers to promote and foster a culture that values intuition, discussion of conflicting views, and experimentation. A willingness to back ideas that are not guaranteed to succeed is another aspect of this culture, as there must be freedom to make mistakes. Knowledge management is becoming increasingly important in helping organizations sustain competitive advantage. The aim of knowledge management is to exploit existing knowledge and to create new knowledge so that it may be exploited in turn. Part D. Identify and evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of an organization and formulate an appropriate SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis summarizes the key issues from the business environment and the strategic capability of an organization that is most likely to impact on strategy development. This allows organizations to adopt and apply innovative methods and technologies to identify business problems and evaluate strategic options and manage solutions. Strengths and weaknesses are essential during the analysis of the organization's strategic capability. By conducting a SWOT analysis, an organization aims to match its strengths with the available market opportunities that it can exploit. Strengths that do not match any available opportunity are of limited use. Strategies need to be developed that convert weakness into strengths to take advantage of some particular opportunity.